Let's go Dolphins! There's something seriously wrong going on in Miami right now, and no one within the organization wants to talk about it. But I will. What if I told you there are players ready to contribute now being benched for reasons that have nothing to do with performance? What if I told you the coaching staff is ignoring talent we all saw dominate in training camp and the preseason? What if I told you this Sunday's game could be the final straw before the locker room completely turns against the coaching staff? Yeah, it's that serious. We're not talking about just another injury update or a simple game preview. This goes deeper. These are decisions being made behind closed doors that could derail the entire season. The Dolphins' defense is near the bottom of the NFL, and yet there's no urgency, no changes. And the most infuriating part? The answer may already be on the roster, and he's still on the bench. But before we continue, if you've been following the Dolphins through their ups and downs, do your part, hit the like button and comment below. Go Dolphins! My heart bleeds water and orange. Let's show this board that the fans are watching, and we won't be silent. Now buckle up, this is going to get intense. This week's 6 matchup isn't just another game on the calendar. It's a critical test for Mike McDaniel and this coaching staff, many of whom could be fighting for their futures. The Dolphins are trying to keep their record perfect against Justin Herbert since that infamous draft class, but they're heading into this game dealing with major injury issues and a defense that's been downright embarrassing. Let's start with the kicking situation. Jason Sanders, who was placed on IR before the season began due to a hamstring injury, remains sidelined. The Dolphins haven't even activated his 21-day practice window. That means Riley Patterson will continue kicking duties for the foreseeable future. And guess what? He's been nothing short of excellent. Perfect on extra points. 5 for 5 on field goals, all from distances between 36 and 47 yards. While Miami hasn't attempted a 50-plus yarder, there's been no hesitation in trusting Patterson, and he's delivered. So as much as fans may want to see Sanders return, there's no reason to rush it. RP is getting the job done. But the story doesn't stop there. Tyrell Dodson, who left last week's game against Carolina with a head injury, remains in concussion protocol. That has opened up a critical question for the linebacker position, one that could dramatically impact the defense's performance. Mike McDaniel mentioned that KJ Britt and Willie Gay Jr. are both under consideration to fill in, but let's be honest, it shouldn't even be a debate. Willie Gay Jr. has been the better football player in just about every way that matters. He's more athletic, has a better range, and has outperformed Britt in coverage. Yet, somehow, he's seen fewer snaps, 17 to Britt's 23, which is insane given how awful this defense has been. How are you not playing the guy who lit up training camp and joint practices? Gay was one of the few bright spots during preseason, but the Dolphins coaching staff continues to ignore that. This is malpractice. Plain and simple. If Willie Gay doesn't get at least 50% of the defensive snaps on Sunday, it's a joke. Fans should be furious. And yes, you can rotate him with Britt if you must, but not giving him 30-plus reps in this game against the Chargers? That's coaching negligence. The defense is ranked at the bottom of the league, and yet no significant changes are being made. It's like they're accepting mediocrity. And when you're watching a team play like it's already given up halfway through the season, you've got to wonder, is McDaniel losing the locker room? Now let's talk about the opposing sideline. The Chargers just made a sneaky big move, trading with the Ravens for edge rusher Odafoa. He's had a disappointing 2025 so far, but his pass rush win rate still ranks top 25 among edge rushers. That's bad news for Miami, especially since their offensive line continues to be a weak link. The Dolphins' O-line has been shaky at best, and now they're facing a high-motor edge guy who could feast if the line doesn't hold up. And while we're on the subject of trenches, let me remind you that this game will be played against one of the worst defensive lines in the NFL, and that's not Miami's. It's the Chargers. With Joe Alt likely out due to a high ankle sprain and Rashawn Slater gone for the season, the Chargers are down to backups and third stringers across the board. We're talking about guys like Austin DeCoulis, Trey Pipkins, and Bradley Bozeman, all with some of the worst PFF grades at their positions. Bozeman, in fact, is the second worst rated center in the league. If Miami's front seven, a unit that was supposed to be a strength, can't take advantage of this battered line, then blow the whole thing up. Seriously, the pass rush has been non-existent. The run defense is the worst in the NFL. They just let Rico Dowdle run for 206 yards, and now they're about to face Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal, two backs who wouldn't start anywhere else. Yet, somehow, they're still concerned that they might run all over this Dolphins defense. Because here's the thing, if Mike McDaniel doesn't make serious adjustments, and fast, we could be watching the slow unraveling of a season that once held so much promise. And let's not pretend like this is just a Willie Gay situation or a one-week injury crisis. This is systemic, the kind of rot that sets in when accountability is nowhere to be found and loyalty is given to the wrong players and coaches for far too long. Let's revisit the linebacker discussion for a moment. KJ Britt was serviceable in relief last week, logging 20-plus snaps against the Panthers after Dotson went down. But serviceable isn't enough when your defense is drowning. What's more frustrating is that Britt isn't even a long-term answer. Willie Gay, on the other hand, offers explosiveness and coverage skills, something this Dolphins defense is desperate for. We're not asking for miracles here, just rational, performance-based decisions. But rationality doesn't seem to be in this organization's DNA lately. Again, Chris Grier still has a job. The same Chris Grier who's overseen failed rebuilds, wasted cap space, and drafted players who either underperform or can't stay healthy. If you or I had that track record in our jobs, we'd be gone. Yet here he is, coasting through year after year while the Dolphins stagnate, or worse, regress. Now, zooming back out to Sunday's matchup, there's more going on than just individual personnel issues. The Chargers aren't exactly world beaters right now. They've lost 2 straight, including an embarrassing home loss to the Commanders. Their rookie running back, Arian Hampton, is now on IR, which leaves them rolling with Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal, a backfield that should scare absolutely no one. And yet, based on what Miami allowed just 4 days ago, we have every reason to be concerned. The defensive line has become a liability. There's no push, no penetration, no attitude. What happened to that aggression we saw glimpses of last season? Players like Christian Wilkins and Jaylon Phillips were supposed to anchor this unit. Instead, we're watching gap confusion, poor tackling, and zero discipline. It's as if every week, the same mistakes get ignored and then repeated on Sunday. And that's on coaching. This coaching staff, once seen as innovative and fresh under Mike McDaniel, now feels reactive and stuck. Offensively, we're still relying on big plays from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to bail out predictable play calling and an offensive line that can't stay healthy or block a 4-man rush. And defensively, we're making third-string running backs look like Derrick Henry in his prime. And yet again, despite all this, there's minimal consequence. No firings, no demotions, just the same vague coach speak and pressers about execution and getting better every week. It's insulting to fans who've been bleeding aqua and orange for decades. We deserve better than empty words. Let's also not forget what's happening around the rest of the AFC. Teams like the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens are getting sharper. Meanwhile, the Dolphins are unraveling. And if you think it's bad now, imagine how much worse it could get if this team doesn't pull out a win against the limping Chargers squad. A loss on Sunday could trigger a full-blown crisis. Players will start questioning coaches, fans will demand firings, and the media, which has been relatively forgiving, will pounce. This is the kind of game that determines whether a team holds the line or implodes. Now here's where the real problem lies. This game is winnable. The Chargers' offensive line is a disaster. Their backfield is depleted. They've been inconsistent on both sides of the ball. Miami should dominate them on paper. But the question remains, will this team finally play like it's supposed to? Or will the lack of leadership, poor roster decisions, and baffling snap counts once again doom them? If I'm being honest with you, I'm worried. Not just about this week, but about the future of this franchise if hard choices aren't made soon. Keeping Chris Grier? That's not just a mistake. It's a message to every fan that mediocrity is acceptable. Sticking with Mike McDaniel without demanding real change on the defensive side of the ball? That's choosing comfort over progress. It's gut check time in Miami, and we'll find out on Sunday who's ready to fight and who's just collecting a paycheck. If you found this video valuable, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our exclusive updates. Drop a like if you believe changes need to be made now, and check out the videos on screen for more hard-hitting Dolphins coverage. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Dolphins!